Haunted Pines. Welcome to Haunted Pines, true and bizarre stories, including the paranormal, true crime, extraterrestrials, monsters, and more. I'm Nomar Slevik, and tonight's story takes us to Ohio with the infamous Dahmer family. We're not talking about Jeffrey, though I'm sure he'll come up. We're actually talking about his mother and the night she saw something strange. This is Joyce Dahmer and the UFO. Part 1. Family. Before the world knew the name Dahmer, there was just a small family in Ohio. Lionel, Joyce, and their 2 boys, Jeffrey and David. The youngest Dahmer was born in 1966 in Doylestown, Ohio. His parents even let Jeffrey choose his name. For a while, they were just another Midwestern family. But Lionel Dahmer later admitted that home life was anything but peaceful. He was buried in his work, often gone for long hours, and Joyce, well, she was struggling. He wrote in his memoir, A Father's Story, quote, "As a scientist, I wonder if the potential for great evil resides deep in the blood that some of us may pass on to our children at birth," end quote. It's an unsettling thought, especially given what Jeffrey would one day become. But long before the murders, there was turmoil. There were outbursts. And there was one strange night in the early 1970s when Joyce ran into the road, screaming that something was in the sky. Part 2. The Night of the UFO. It happened in Bath, Ohio, sometime around 1970. The Dahmers had just moved into their new house, a quiet home set back from the trees. The neighbors didn't know much about them, other than what they observed. One neighbor would later say, quote, "She was just a nut," end quote. What they didn't realize was that Joyce was suffering from severe clinical depression, an invisible illness that, at the time, few people understood. Then came the night. A local boy remembered hearing shouting outside, frantic and panicked shouting. He looked out his window and saw Joyce running up Bath Road, waving her arms and pointing at the sky. She kept yelling that there was a UFO. Neighbors later said she was shouting so loudly it echoed throughout the entire neighborhood. She ran until she vanished over the hilltop, still pointing upward. Her husband realized she had bolted from the house and chased after her. In his account, he caught up to her and she insisted he drive her through the dark countryside, searching the night sky for the UFO. She was wild-eyed, desperate, certain that something had descended over Bath that night. The next day, she was out on a walk and claimed the UFO had returned. She ran home, got in the car, and went looking for it. Lionel wrote in his book, quote, "She spotted a UFO at the intersection of Cleveland and Massillon, chased it at 60 miles an hour, and had the entire story written up in the Beacon Journal," end quote. Guys, I tried searching for the article in the newspaper's archives, even on the Wayback Machine, but I was unable to find anything. If you happen to have it or are better at archival research, please send it my way. Part 3. Shadows over the Dahmer house. That period, 1970 into 1971, was one of Joyce's darkest. She was hospitalized twice at Akron General for mental health issues. Some neighbors whispered that the UFO episode proved that she had lost it. Her breakdowns and long absences took a toll on the family. The marriage faltered. Lionel focused on work. Jeffrey, already withdrawn, retreated further into himself. One neighbor would later recall that the Dahmers, quote, kept to themselves more than anyone else on the block, end quote. It's easy to dismiss Joyce's sighting as delusional or mania. But what if it wasn't? Ohio has long been a hotspot for UFO reports, including a wave of sightings in the early 1970s, right around that same time. Maybe what she saw wasn't imagined. Maybe it was one of those encounters that leaves no proof, just the witness's memory and testimony. For example, on October 18th, 1973, a clear autumn night over north central Ohio, Army reservist and Cleveland police officer Lawrence Coyne was piloting a UH-1H Huey helicopter back from Columbus with 3 other men aboard. They were Arrigo Jesse, Robert Yanosek, and John Healy. All of them are trained and sober. They were flying at about 2,500 feet, cruising north toward Cleveland, when something strange appeared on the horizon. It was a red light. At first, it seemed to pace them, keeping its distance. Coyne, thinking it must be a jet, radioed the control tower in Mansfield. There was no response. The light was coming straight for them now. Coyne banked hard, driving the Huey to avoid collision. But the red light followed. And then, just before the men were expecting impact, everything stopped. A silver cigar-shaped craft, nearly 60 feet long, hovered in front of the helicopter. The red light at its nose glowed. A white light was at its rear, and from beneath, a green beam washed through the Huey's cabin, scanning the men, the metal, and the instruments. Inside, every dial spun out of control. The compass whirled, and the radio went dead. Then they realized that the helicopter was rising on its own, as if some unseen force had hooked them, pulling them higher into the Ohio sky. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the object turned and shot off at a high rate of speed. Coyne and his crew landed safely. They were fine physically, but all of them were shaken, and the compass was destroyed beyond repair. Everything else on the helicopter was fine. They told their story the next day, to supervisors, to the FAA, and eventually to journalists. Coyne found himself on the Dick Cavett Show and in Rod Serling's documentary, UFOs, Past, Present, and Future. He even testified before the United Nations. He said, quote, "I am convinced this object was real, and these incidents deserve serious investigation," end quote. Part 4. The Mother of a Monster. Years later, after Jeffrey's horrific crimes came to light, reporters turned to Joyce for answers. Was she to blame? Had her instability created him? Joyce rejected the idea completely. She said there were no warning signs, that Jeffrey had been a beautiful baby, a wonderful child. In later interviews, she often sounded torn between grief and defiance. She said once, quote, "I still love my son. I've never stopped loving my son," end quote. She worked for years with HIV and AIDS patients in California, trying, many thought, to balance the horror her son committed. A colleague once said of her, quote, "She was enthusiastic and she was compassionate. She turned her own tragedy into empathy," end quote. Joyce died of breast cancer in 2000. She was 64. And her other son, David, the boy Jeffrey once named, disappeared from public life entirely. He wanted no part of the shadow his brother had cast. And for Lionel, he died in 2023. Part 5. The Legacy. The story of Joyce Dahmer and the UFO is a strange one, but it's also tragic. But it captures something true about the human condition. Sometimes the things we see are only reflections from within us, but other times they're not. Whether Joyce saw a spaceship from another world or it was her own unraveling mind, we'll never know. But for one night in Bath, Ohio, a woman looked up at the stars and believed she wasn't alone. What are your thoughts? I sometimes wonder what Jeffrey thought about it all. And do you think Joyce really saw a UFO? Feel free to reach out and let us know. At Haunted Pines Pod on Instagram or email us at hauntedpinespod@gmail.com. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please share the Haunted Pines podcast with someone who loves true tales and the unexplained. You can find other strange stories in my books, Humanoid Encounters, Granite Skies, UFOs over Maine, and my latest work, In the Pines. Check the show notes for links. Until next time, always be aware of your surroundings, for the night belongs to the ghosts. I'm Nomar Slevik, and this is Haunted Pines.